We hear so much about how we should disconnect and get offline to reduce stress. But in these desperate times, connecting on our computers, phones, and other devices has been our lifeline. We've seen our children go to online educational spaces with their teachers and classmates. We've watched friends memorialize the loss of a parent remotely. We have seen business teams host virtual welcome drinks, all as a consequence of the global COVID-19 pandemic, all as an effort to connect on a human level. The lines between our real lives and our digital lives, which used to be private versus public spaces, are forever blurred. Now our digital spaces have become essential for human connection and our livelihoods. How can we design our life in digital spaces for our health, our values, good feelings, longevity, and our relationships? How many of you feel safe to share thoughts and feelings online? Do you risk authenticity or vulnerability in a digital work meeting? Where do you find community to share your experiences, accelerate your ideas, and find trust, acceptance, and resources? Research shows that prolonged periods of time online is leaving us feeling isolated, anxious, and stressed. We're splitting our attention, multitasking, checking social media while in a team meeting, or scanning our email while watching TV with our loved ones. We zone out like zombies. We scroll, click like, and repeat. We've bought into the false narrative that digital literacy and speed is more important than human or social literacy and depth. Instead of cultivating happiness and relief, focused concentration, or conscious communications, so many of us are distracted or barely coping. With the limitless reach and potential of the internet, coupled with our predisposition to be social, emotional, and creative beings, why are we using technology in a way that is so harmful to our health? And there are destructive systems of oppression like racism, sexism, and xenophobia that are being amplified instead of dismantled. Our mental health, physical safety, and democratic values are at risk. We already know that diverse teams are more productive, innovative, profitable. We know already that just a few strong, caring relationships create longer, happier, healthier lives. Using this knowledge, how can we fully design and welcome diversity and humanity into our digital spaces? We can use the internet to deconstruct fear, loneliness, depression, and isolation. We can create compassionate spaces where people feel good, safe, and supported. And what about the future of work? We can increase participation in all kinds of work online and alleviate unemployment and underemployment. You may have heard the term radical inclusion as part of the 10 principles of Burning Man, written by Larry Harvey in 2004. Radical inclusion is the most essential component to unleashing human potential in digital spaces. Simply defined, radical inclusion is inviting and integrating people into new cultures and enabling and encouraging their full participation once they get there. Radical self-acceptance and self-awareness are necessary as well. When we bring our imperfect selves forward, we permit others to join in, to work, play, and interact. Soon, all of humanity will be digital natives, like my teenage daughters. Our children need places where they can find themselves and their role models. Places where we represent fully what it means to be human from any culture. Old or young, neuroatypical, differently abled, non-standard size, religious or not, and any color on the race, gender, and sexuality rainbows. This talk is a crash course about how to use radical inclusion to humanize digital spaces, based on my experience as an educator, vocational psychologist, and online community leader for about 10 years in large international and diverse forums. With 3 simple habits, you can quickly adjust how you behave in digital spaces. You can feel better online and achieve your goals as a digital citizen. The 3 habits require focus when applying radical inclusion on how you receive, how you give, and how you curate to value your time spent online. When you receive, be sure that you have a learner's mindset. Take a moment to think about what you'd like to learn or achieve before you join a digital event or another digital space. Know the culture and your role. Each digital space has its own energy, customs, and tone. When we move in physical space from point A to point B, we are given time to transition when we go to meet a friend or attend a meeting. But when we're online, we're jumping between platforms, conversations, purposes, and roles at lightning speed, the speed of a click. Pause. We should just pause to remind ourselves that we're changing spaces. Take the 10 seconds. When receiving, be curious and ask questions. Curiosity will help you connect with and learn from all the people you meet in digital spaces. Practice active listening. Active listening, or even active reading, requires full attention and presence. Receive attentively without leaping to quick judgments or planning what you'd like to say or write next. This requires patience, curiosity, and respect for others. Know yourself. Observe your own online behavior. Notice your strengths and interests. You may discover new talents or even new aspects of your personality. Maybe online you're an educator, researcher, guide, or passionate advocate for others. If you're leading, plan on how to receive and capture feedback. Progressive listening organizations always find ways to value and hear from everyone. Being intentional about how you receive in digital spaces is the first habit to promote radical inclusion. To include sensitive topics online, build anonymity into your digital spaces. Just as organizations offer employees the chance to provide anonymous feedback, community leaders can offer anonymous posting. Anonymous posts might contain embarrassing or difficult content that could threaten someone's career or personal safety. So they must be handled with great care and discretion, but the benefits are extraordinary. Individuals in the digital community can contribute stories, expert advice, links, and encouragement to support the anonymous person. Anonymous posts not only help the person with the problem, but also many others witnessing the conversation who may be facing a similar problem, and therefore we feel less alone. I have seen anonymous posting provide practical and emotional support for a woman thrown out with her kids by an abusive husband. Another woman successfully renegotiated her contract when she discovered that a male colleague hired at the same level that she was hired had a salary more than 20% higher than her salary. Other posts have helped people talk openly about relationship and parenting struggles without having to reveal their identities or expose their families. Anonymity supports radical inclusion. Anonymous posts save lives and cultivate a culture of intimacy, trust, and caring, even among thousands of virtual strangers. The second habit for humanizing digital spaces is to focus on how you are going to give and contribute. Did you know that the first habit, receiving, is also giving? Your presence and participation in digital spaces has real value. When someone is being bullied and you're able to speak up and defend that person or question and challenge an offensive idea, you provide support and safety, again, not only for that person, but for any witness. You can witness positive things too, like people asking for feedback or sharing their victories, personal and professional. Being present and happy for others helps us to feel good in community. When in giving mode, introduce yourself. Let people know a bit about you. Contextualizing your comments with a few personal details reassures others, models self-respect, and it can give you credibility. Be transparent. In the entrepreneurial groups that I have led, people like to share some part of their exciting new idea or to conduct market research. Be transparent and intentional. Let people know what you're doing and why. Your clarity online builds trust. Use inclusive language. Our words are so powerful. We can build bridges and bonds or exclude a whole group of people with just one word. For example, in a women's group, it's really important not to assume that all the women in the group are mothers or all the women in the group want to be mothers. If you start a post with the words, "Dear moms," you exclude childless and child-free women. Helping people to feel seen and respected with inclusive language more accurately reflects the social diversity of our world. Be explicitly anti-racist and anti-sexist. We all need to unlearn racist and sexist perspectives. If you want people to feel safe, provide information and be very clear about racism and sexism. Give examples. Because when we focus on giving, we can provide information to further radical inclusion. In one of the groups I manage, we have explicit policy statements that it is a safe space, an anti-racist and anti-sexist space. But we've taken it a step further with some resources. We have information about things like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movement, so that our curious members can learn more, follow links, read, watch videos, and really understand what it means to be anti-racist and anti-sexist in our lives and in all digital spaces. Contribute meaningfully and add value when you're giving online. Introverts and anyone from an underrepresented population, please find ways to get involved. We need your voices. Extroverts, like me, cultivate attentive responsiveness to both topics and people, and make space for others to share their stories and ideas too. Share your feelings. Use emotion words. When you're online, share your emotional experience. Digital spaces can feel cold and harsh. We don't always see each other's faces. We don't always hear each other's voices. People are sometimes shy when it comes to introducing themselves. Consciously adding emotion words reminds others that you are a human being. Those listening or reading can then intuit, oh, this person needs reassurance, or he is ready for critical feedback. Adding feeling words does not diminish your intellect, the strength of your argument, or the research you're presenting, but it can pique curiosity and help others resonate with what you are expressing. Celebrate. Celebrate joyful moments when you're in digital spaces. Amplify good news. Recognize your colleague and her accomplishment. For example, does anyone have any questions for Carmen regarding the new grant she procured? And then let Carmen be a star for a while. Bring your sense of humor to digital spaces too. It may feel counterproductive or counterintuitive to make space for human interest and humor and relationships, but action bias is harmful to us all. Compliment, strengthen your relationships. Take those extra minutes to laugh, to beam with pride, and to honor one another. Share your values and your why. We can so easily jump right into problems and concerns when we get online. This links negative feelings to our experiences in digital spaces. Mentioning shared values and why you're excited to be present adds positive energy, motivation, and a sense of purpose to any meeting. The third important habit involves curating information, spending our time wisely, and creating the nurturing digital spaces we need as we practice radical inclusion to humanize digital spaces. Now, are you ready for the radical inclusion of you in digital spaces? I really want you to be very selective. Value yourself, your life, and every minute of it. Go where you feel human values are shared and respected. When you get tired of negativity in any space, leave. Artificial intelligence is observing your behavior online, even if you're not. Let's feed big data the kindness we crave. If you find negativity in your place of work or on a giant platform that you want to remain a part of, then use these suggestions about radical inclusion to model positive change online. Applying radical inclusion to humanized digital spaces is simple. You can develop habits that improve how you receive, give, and curate with respect for your own humanity. In digital spaces, we can exist beyond the borders of space and time. This is my invitation to you. Today, and every time you get online, leave your legacy of love, compassion, and radical inclusion.